All right, folks, welcome into the Friday main event. Mike Motor alongside my good buddy, my partner Lee T. Lee, we got a big night of football tonight.
Well, week 11, and like we just talked about, a lot of big matchups tonight. Some region titles across the state are on the line. It's a good night for football, good weather. I'm excited about it.
Football weather, man.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
it's not too cold. It's just right.
All right.
It might be cold by 9 o'clock tonight, but it feels good right now, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like I say, we're over here at Chapel Hill. We got Forest entertaining Lewis County. Big region matchup tonight. Region title on the line. Got another region title on the line tonight, Lee. If you move over east a little bit, over to Region 4, of course, we're talking about Watertown. We got head coach Gavin Wester on with us. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, Mike and Lee.
Well, like I said, man, big game for you guys tonight. You know, a lot of folks, along with us, I guess, we thought you guys might be down a little bit because you graduated so much talent. You had a real good senior class last year, including your son, Bryce. But your young kids have really stepped up, man, had a big year. Are you pretty happy with how the season's gone so far?
Yeah, I'm real happy. To think that we are, playing for the region title tonight. Just really didn't know what this bunch was going to be able to do this year, and they have proved me wrong, proved a bunch wrong, and they have come out and played some good football this year, and they put themselves in this position.
Well, Coach, we felt a couple weeks ago that you guys had already locked up this region, and then East Robertson comes out and beats Westmoreland, which makes this game a must win for you tonight to take the region. Did that game surprise you like it did us?
It did. I'll be honest with you, it really did. I thought it would be a close game, but it never dawned on me. It just really surprised me.
Right.
Mm. Well, Coach, your team, like we said, you played really well. Only two losses. Both of those losses, larger programs. You play for the region title tonight. We mentioned how much do you feel like playing, the Nolensville and the Upperman, the larger schools? How much do you think that kind of benefited you guys heading here into the postseason?
There's no doubt that it's made us a better football team. We sat down last year when the season was over. As a coaching staff, we looked at some games and kind of put some feelers out, and we just felt like that we need to challenge our program more, challenge our kids more to help us in the playoffs, and we felt like we picked up some good teams, and they were definitely we were definitely challenged this year.
Coach, we mentioned this earlier. We felt there might be a drop off there at the quarterback spot, when Bryce graduated, but you got a sophomore there in Braden Casino who's played exceptionally well for you this year. Talk a little bit about your young QB there and how much he's grown over the season.
Braden has done an outstanding job for us this year. He has grown every week, just got better. He continues to get better. Grew up a lot last week.
Right.
But he's just had an exceptional year for a sophomore coming in there and learning the offense and just getting better every week, and I couldn't be prouder.
Well, Coach, senior running back Daramus Carey, he's really been a huge factor for you guys this season. Talk a minute about him and what that running game as a whole has meant to the team this year.
Well, the running game. I will say this as far as our running game goes, we're a little bit different football team than what we were last year. We got a lot of weapons, but last year, we got this. When you got Heath Price out there on the perimeter throwing the ball to him, and then you got teams worrying about D. Ray. It makes you got to pick your poison. Which one? It's hard to take care of both of them. So you
Right.
take care of one hurts you, and then vice versa. This year, and D. Ray will be the first one to say that. He knows that he had a great year on account of that last year. This year hadn't, he's had a good year, but not as great as it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of things, that factor. Of course, we've had some guys to step up in some other positions, and we're able to spread the ball around more. Probably not running as much, but also, he's starting inside linebacker on defense, so
Right.
he's playing both ways this time. So there's a couple of factors in there, and he's the young man plays hard on defense and always around the football, and then trying to come over on offense and get quality carries. But he means a lot to this football team, because if people are trying to shut him down, that means, we got some stuff open
Right.
on the outside.
Mike Mulder and Lee Teat joined by phone with Watertown head coach Gavin Webster here on the Friday main event.
Well, Coach, you spoke about, spreading that ball around. One of the best things about Casino and his ability to spread the ball around is you got four guys, Junior Watts, Kaysen, Malone, and then the senior Williams, that all have over 200 receiving yards. You got to be also excited about the fact that you get most of these guys back next year.
Yeah, like I said, we got a young bunch, and coming into this season, we really didn't know what those guys are going to be able to do, and all those guys have just continually got better. We're evolving each week. We're trying to, this football team from when we kicked off at Gornsville, there back in August, all the way to this time, we've just continually have improved every week.
Well, Coach, entering the season, we knew a strong point for this Watertown team would be up front with Braxton Swain, Josh French, Preston Criswell, Jaden Joby. All those guys back this year. We knew you guys would be strong up front. Talk a minute about how great a careers those kids have had with the Purple Tigers, and I know linemen are special to you. Talk a minute about those kids and what their careers have meant to Watertown football.
Well, those guys have been around this program now 4 years, and I've seen them grow from just little freshmen, never did think to be what they are today, and they have really they've really kept this thing going. Uh, Defensively, pretty much all those guys, Swan, French, Jaden Job, Preston Cresswell, all those guys, play in the offense. If they don't play in the offense, they start on the defensive line, and they're just the anchor to this team. The saying goes, if you got a good offensive line, defensive line, if you win the trenches, you're gonna win a whole lot of football games.
Yes, sir.
Coach, one thing we haven't really hit on a whole lot yet with you here is about how well your defense has been playing. You got a couple of amazingly, I think, talented juniors who've had 19 tackles for loss so far this season. Talk a minute about your two Jordans, Kaysen and Carter.
Unbelievable athletes. Jordan Carter, first year, played defensive line last year, moved him to linebacker this spring, and he just took off with it. Just a very talented young man, quick, athletic. He gets some carries on the offensive side of the ball. He gets a few carries, splits a little time with D-Ray over there. Jordan Kaysen plays outside for us, outside linebacker, also starts at wide receiver. Another young man, just very talented, athletic, quick. They have a knack getting to the football. That football when it's down, those two are usually around it.
We're talking to Purple Tiger head coach Gavin Webster here on the Friday Night event. Coach, for the second year in a row, you guys were able to knock off a really good Trousdale County team during the regular season. If you guys get past East Robertson tonight, you'll probably, in all likelihood, see those guys again in the third round. We talked to Coach Satterfield a couple of weeks ago. He fully expects that rematch. How do you personally feel those teams match up?
Well, they're both a good matchup. We played them week 3. We knew they had a good football team, and Trails was always going to put a good quality football team on the field.
Yes,
and that's where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about football and they're coming in our region, that's where we want to be. We want to be, the top dog, just like they want to be the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that night we played them, it was just an unbelievable football game. Our guys didn't quit, played hard for 4 quarters, and that's one thing that you're going to see if you come watch our football team play. You're going to see a football team that doesn't quit. They're going to play till time expired, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to get after it. And that's one thing they did that night. We were down 13-0, and they just kept fighting and clawing, and found their way back in the ball game, and tied it up and wound up winning in overtime. So it's a good matchup. You've got 2 good football teams, and they're pretty much equal on both sides of the football.
Right.
Well, Coach, you got a special guy over there I'm very partial to in your defensive coordinator there, Josh Hackett. I've known him and his family for a long time. His brothers. You know, I hear his name out there a lot of times in the head coaching searches, candidates. Just talk a little bit about how important he's been to your success there at Watertown.
Oh, he's been real important. Josh, he does a great job with the defense. He keeps it simple. The kids play hard for him. He's gonna have the opponent's offense pegged. Yeah, he just does a great job in preparing and getting a good game plan together, and being sound, and that's what you want. You want a good sound defense to give your team a chance to win, and that's what he does. You don't try to make it too complicated for the kids. Puts themselves in position, and they just play hard.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
Well, Coach, I know you guys got a game to get ready for. Lee and I, man, we always enjoy catching up with you, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us. And hopefully, we're able to catch up with you again here in the postseason at some point.
All right, sounds good. Enjoyed it.
Good
Thank you,
luck to you,
Coach
Coach.
Webster.
Thanks, buddy. All right, Mr. Teat, Gavin Webster, Watertown, man. Them guys are having a really good season this year.
He's a solid coach, dude.
He's a really good coach, no doubt about it. And
Got
he
good,
does have, like
good,
you said, good staff
got
around him.
good staff around him, but he's got some players over there, some talented kids. And anytime, like you said, man, your measuring stick really in Middle Tennessee for that division is always Trousdale County.
Right.
And he's playing with them year in and year out.
And there's not many folks that do that.
No, and that says a whole lot right
yeah,
there.
kudos to him and Coach Hackett. You mentioned
That's right.
he does a really good job there. I mean, if you can hold Trousdale to 13 points, buddy, you've done your job on the defensive side of the ball.
He's bright, buddy.
So yeah, I was really impressed with what they've been able to do, and embarrassingly, I didn't have them in our top 10. And
Well, like everybody else, we thought when you lose
Price and
Price and Webster, I mean that's two really
that's
good
a lot of
ball
your
players,
offense,
man.
wasn't it?
At
Yeah.
the 2A level, I mean that's driving you.
Absolutely.
So I was kind of the same way. I thought maybe they might go 6-4 or something like that.
Yeah,
Man, here
yeah.
they go rolling. So good
I think
job,
that,
Watertown.
like we said, though, I think that Nolensville game and that Upperman game, I think that's going to pay dividends for them here in the postseason because they were tested.
Well, that Nolensville
And they hung
game,
with both of those
yeah,
teams.
that's right. First half that Nolensville game was a tight ball game, man.
Yeah.
I think Nolensville pulled away late.
Right.
But then they go up to Upperman and lose by 1.
Yeah.
And Upperman may be a semifinal 3A squad.
That very well
could be. So we'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Mr. Teat, we'll go ahead and take a quick break here. We'll get our good friend Eddie Woods, Cane Ridge head coach, on the other side of the break. This is the Friday Main Event. I am Mike Motor, and he is Lee Teat. And we'll be back after this. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you a minute about our title sponsor, CoachT.com. We appreciate Jim Thompson and all the guys over at Coach T joining up with us. We'll be partnered with them for the second consecutive year. So Friday Main Event, we're honored to be associated with such a great website. If you're into high school sports, whether you play, you have a child that plays, or just an ordinary fan, CoachT.com is a place you need to check out. And it's not just football. I mean, football is probably the biggest reason people visit CoachT.com. But if you have a kid into any other sport, softball, baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, if it's a high school sport, most likely you're going to find some information on CoachT.com. But what I want to talk to you about in particular is the Coach T Plus membership, which I happen to be a part of. For the second year in a row, the Coach T Plus membership will be donation-based. So you decide what Coach T is worth to you. That's what's so great about the website. You can make as much commitment to the website as you feel comfortable with. Now, myself, I'm on the website, multiple times a day, as a matter of fact. So, I feel like I owe it to the website and I owe it to Coach T to make a nice donation, and hopefully you guys will feel that commitment as well. We do want to keep the website running. Many of us get a lot of enjoyment out of the website, but the Plus membership, you get access to certain boards that you don't have as just a regular member of Coach T. So that's one reason to join the Plus membership. Another reason is you're kind of the captain of your team. You're in charge of the scheduling, or I should say the correction. If there's any corrections need to be made to the schedules, any corrections need to be made to the scores that are reported, you have the ability to do that. And that's what the Coach T Plus membership, it kind of provides you a certain degree of ownership into the website. So please check it out, man. It's on the front page. You go to the home page, again, CoachT.com. There's a tab right there where you can click and become a Coach T Plus member. And just because you are now, don't assume you are forever. That is a 1-year membership, so you need to double check, make sure your membership has not expired. Again, from the Friday Man event, we appreciate CoachT.com and hope you guys appreciate them as much as we do. All right, Lee T, we are back. Forest High School getting ready for a big Region 5 showdown over here. You've got Lewis County coming in with one loss. Forest still undefeated on the season. So this is for all the marbles, man. Big game over here tonight.
It'll be a big one. I expect a crowd.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. I talked to my buddy Beth. She's in the press, or she's in the concession stand. So
she said she's gonna feed us.
She's gonna hook us up with some food. So I'm
right.
always happy about that.
Exactly
that's
right.
probably like my old buddy Eddie Woods. He's probably always in for some free food, ain't you, Coach?
Yeah, the way I look, man, I love to eat.
I didn't mean it that way, man. we've got Cane Ridge head coach Eddie Woods on with us. Coach, hey man, tough game last week, but you got another game tonight, man. You live to fight on, right?
Yeah, we pretty much clinched the region, and we got to finish out strong, but we got to clean up some technique stuff that we kind of messed up on last week, but hopefully we can get that correct tonight.
Well, did you think the rain, I know you said you guys had practiced in the rain, do you think that kind of factored in a little bit last week? What was your, I know we were talking in the break, and you said you had a couple of blown coverages, and that really, you felt kind of swung swung the direction of the game toward Ravenwood. Was that the biggest issue you felt?
Yeah, we had a couple of miscues and coverage-wise, and, the elements didn't help us as far as, with the ball and dropping ball and things like that. But, I mean, they played in the elements too.
Right.
And that's part of the game. So, they executed more than we did, and hopefully we can try to see them again later on down the line.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, we mentioned, maybe there were some drop passes, but I was very surprised at Ravenwood. I thought they did a good job keeping your run game in check. Were you surprised that they were able to defend the run that well, or you think it was also a victim of circumstance with the elements? They just stacked the box.
Well, they did some things differently that we usually hadn't seen them do, so it kind of caught us by surprise a little bit. But we started doing a few things that kind of got it going, but then we kind of got behind and had to throw a little bit more in the rain, so it kind of played a factor too.
Right.
Well, Coach, you lost a couple of games early in the season when you were short a few kids, but since then, you guys have played lights out. That up until that Ravenwood game, region rival Stewart's Creek, new head coach Burt Brown. I thought they played a good game. Were you kind of surprised that the Red Hawks played as good as they did against you guys?
I am not, actually, because we played them last couple of years, and I knew they'd been playing a lot of young kids. So this class they have now was pretty good when they were younger, and I knew they was going to be good this year. And then he's doing an excellent job too, man, and how they line up and how sound they are too, and how physical they are. So they're going to be someone to watch in the playoffs here pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, you got your quarterback there, Xavion Clemens, who's played well since his return. I think he returned prior to the McGavitt game. In only 6 games, he's completed 61% of his passes, 1,370 yards, 19 TDs versus what I love, 19 TDs versus 4 interceptions. You got to love the fact that he's only a junior and he'll be back for you.
Oh, yeah, a lot, man. He's just an old school kid with that hard-nosed mentality, just coming in and getting the job done, really. He just added a tough element to the team, and, he's really, really getting comfortable. And I'm excited about him going to the playoffs as well.
Mike Mulder and Lee Teat joined by Cane Ridge head coach Eddie Woods here on the Friday Night event. Coach juniors Quentin Barnes and Ty Good, along with seniors Adonai Mitchell, and those guys have provided Clemens with some really big-time targets to throw the ball to. I think you've actually got 5 different kids that have caught TD passes this season. Talk about that group of receivers you've got over there.
Yeah, Mitchell is the only senior that we have, so Quentin and Ty Good they'll be back next year as well. But those guys have worked really hard in the off season to get the timing down. So when Xavier came back, we knew it wasn't going to be hard to transition. You know, you got to catch up with game speed and things like that.
Right.
But we knew they put a lot of work in the off season, and with him going down, it kind of threw a wrench in there. But you know, those guys are back focused now. Quentin is finally healthy. You know, and Ty, I know he got shaken up last game, which he'll be back for the playoffs. So we're excited about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach, you know, speaking of the playoffs, one thing that I believe in when you get into the playoffs, you got to be able to run the football to win.
Uh-huh.
You got 7 different kids with 100 yards rushing, man, and 9 with TD carries. You know, talk a little bit about that depth and how that does play into and become a factor in the playoffs.
Well, we had 2 younger guys that's ran the ball for us really well. They will be back this week as well. They were a little banged up too, but we knew we could not replace Devon Starr and
Sure.
Jacquez Norman from last year.
Right.
So we just said we're going to schematically find ways to try to get the running production. We have things in the playbook and things like that. We've been working on the offseason to get that production. So I think we'll really be able to pull off in the playoffs because running game is very important in playing solid defense and special teams.
Well, Coach, we had talked about your defense, but Dantes Turner, Michael Reese, along with Junior Cameron Pleasant, you know, they've led your team in tackles this season. I think Reese also leads the team in sacks. Who do you consider the leader on that defensive side of the ball?
we have quite a few because we got a lot of experience right there. But you got to say Reese, man, because he just gives it up every week.
Mm-hmm.
He'll early enroll in Duke in January, but it doesn't even seem that way because he gives you everything. And I always use him as an example for the other kids. Anytime I feel like kids are getting down or being selfish, I'm like, look, if anybody can be selfish, it can be this kid. He's going to a great academic institution to further his football and his academic career. And if anybody can be selfish, it could be him. But he gives it up every single play, every single practice. And so I'm excited about that. He's really leading by example.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, you know, the only thing that you talked about your kicking game there just a second ago, and that was the only thing maybe we were looking at that was a little concerning to us, was your kicking numbers. You know, you think you're going to be able to get that squared away a little bit going into the postseason, or you think it's going to be about where it's at?
Yeah, no, we've been pretty consistent with PATs and things like that.
Right.
Our coverage, I've been kind of paranoid on keeping certain kids out of some of those things to try to keep them healthy. But we're going to go out and just use our best weapons in the playoffs. So we'll start to plug back in those veteran guys that we usually have on certain special teams, and then we're going to go all out. And I mean, because we have to, because it's do or die. But yeah, we've been giving other young guys opportunity to play some special teams, so we can kind of keep some of the other guys healthy.
We're joined by Cane Ridge head coach Eddie Woods here on the Friday Main Event.
Well, Coach, you guys got a region game tonight against Laverne. Coach Stevens' team has improved this season, but you guys have already secured the region title and the #1 seed. Is this a game where you do give some of those younger kids a few more snaps to get ready for postseason?
Well, you hope you can do that, but at the same time, you know, it's still a game. We still not playing complete football, so we want to come out and we really practice hard this week. It's more of a mental thing. Although we got #1 seed over here and things like that already secured, we want to come out and play better technique football because that's what's needed in the playoffs. I'm going to be really harping on special teams and just the small things as we go into next week because whoever we play, I think we're probably going to play Franklin next week. Any team that comes from here is kind of going to be well coached and they're going to play their butts off. So it does not matter who we get next week. If we don't do those things, it'll be hard for us to win.
Right.
Well, you know, Coach, Lee and I, we're big UT fans, and, you know, as I've looked back over all my years of watching UT football, I think probably one of my favorite plays all time was a 66-yard TD catch from Mose Phillips in a driving rainstorm against Florida back in '92. Sound like you knew where I was going with this. You know, he's shooter. He's my all-time favorite quarterback. You know, throwing that ball to Mose, that was awesome. What kind of job is he doing as a defensive coordinator over there at Cane Ridge?
He's doing a great job, man. And, you know, people always talk about that play. And,
I loved
that
it.
was a hell of a play he made, too.
Yep.
And also, we congratulated him. He's going to be inducted in April in the Metro Sports Hall of Fame because, as
Awesome.
everyone knows, he was a hell of a high school player at
Yeah.
Hillsborough High School.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, he's doing an unbelievable job for us. A lot of energy. He's excited about the playoffs. This is our time of year, and after tonight, everybody be 0-0, and it's on the east side this year. So as long as we keep surviving, we'll keep playing playoff games at Cane Ridge, and we're all excited about it.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, sometimes we checking and strolling around on Facebook, and we see you post about Tony Pollard. Did he play for you at Melrose?
He did. Tony played for me at Melrose. He's a hell of a player too, man, and a great kid, man.
Playing for the Cowboys now. That's got to be every kid's dream there.
Yeah. Actually, his dad is a Cowboys fan, but I'm actually a 49ers fan. So when he got drafted to him, I said, "Oh man!" But I represent him. So I represent him well.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him, man, and he's doing a good job up there. And when you're playing behind Zeke, you're only going to get so many touches and so many opportunities.
That's
but
true.
He's making the most of it. He's making the most of it, and I knew that he'll be a hell of a player for him. He's going to have a longer career ahead of him.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, I know you got a game to get ready for, brother. I hated that we wasn't able to get you on last week, but I'm really glad you took the time to join us today, and hopefully we can catch up with you again before the season's up with.
I hope so, and we keep lasting, hopefully so. I really appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you tonight, brother.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, see you, Coach.
Oh.
All right, Lee. I like Coach Woods. He's a good dude, man. He's a good coach, real good coach.
He is, and I tell you what, he knows talent, knows how to develop it. Like you said a while ago, he's talking about Coach Olive down there at Tullahoma, man. And if I was in the metro area, and I got a pretty good kid, wants to play some football, I might be looking over at Cane Ridge.
I would too, man. I was in their huddle for their pregame talk. I kind of snuck in there. They was in there under the bleachers because it was raining, and I got to kind of sit in with him while he was talking to his kid. He's talking about the fact that nobody thought they had a chance. Let's go out there and prove them wrong. He really had them pumped up.
That's right.
And I like what Coach Woods does, and he's got a good staff with him, and I fully expect him to make some noise here in the postseason.
I do too, and I think he does a good job schematically too.
He
but
does.
One thing that a lot of people don't realize, he hasn't been healthy all year.
Right.
I mean, he hadn't had a week where he's had a complete
roster.
Yeah. So he's
true.
doing a good job, man.
That's true, and they're going to be around.
And they're all coming back.
They're all that's what's made. That's crazy, isn't it? The QB, all the receivers, they're going to be a force next year.
That's right.
And he knows that. All right, Lee. Well, that's going to conclude our second coach's interview. We'll go ahead and take our next break right at this point in time, and we'll John Olive. That's right. John Olive. We got John Olive coming up on the other side of the break. This is the Friday main event. Stay tuned. Lee and I will be back after this. All right, Lee T, we are back. Friday main event from Chapel Hill. Forest Rockets getting ready to host the Lewis County Panthers. Region 5 title on the line tonight. Should be a great game, man. I'm really excited to watch this one.
Yeah, undefeated versus a one loss for the region title. And like we said earlier, we're over here at Chapel Hill, and they got two things they love over here. That's the tractor pull and the Forest Rockets.
That's right. It's exactly right. And if you stroll over to Tullahoma, there ain't really one thing they love over there, and that's the Tullahoma Wildcats.
That's exactly right.
And we've got head coach John Olive on with us. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, trying to enjoy a beautiful afternoon.
It is. It's good football weather, isn't it, Coach?
It is, absolutely.
Well, Coach, I'm sorry I didn't tell you when it happened, but congratulations. I think you picked up career win number 200 over Lawrence County a couple weeks ago. That's an amazing accomplishment for you.
Well, I'm very fortunate. We've had some really good players over the years, and I have been surrounded with good coaches that worked really hard. And that's what you got to have.
Mm-hmm.
The community support here has been great over the years. So fortunate, especially with that 0-20 run that was in there. Fortunate to have gotten there.
Well, Coach, I believe I think you're now in your 27th year there at Tullahoma. What do you think is the biggest difference between 2019 and when you started coaching back in '92?
Oh, probably the biggest difference is the number of parents that you deal with versus what we did in 1993.
I got you.
You've always had parents that you had to deal with. I think it's just a greater number of them that you have to deal with. And the other thing that's completely different is you got all these training gurus out there that, promise you a college scholarship if
Right.
you'll work in their sport. And it keeps young people from using their God-given talents in the sports that they enjoy. You'll see them isolate and cut
Uh-huh.
out the sports they participated in, and that's probably the biggest difference.
I had
You've
I,
always had some of those, but the percentage is just higher.
I didn't see you going there, but I totally get you. I totally agree with you. That's a good point.
Well, Coach, you guys have had another great season, including a big win over a solid Giles County team last week. You pretty happy with how your team's improved over the season?
Yes, we are, and we have been our own worst enemy when we play good teams. We had self-destructed and not really giving ourselves a chance to win. And that's been our goal for the last 4 weeks, is to get to where we can beat the good teams. And that means that we're giving ourselves a chance. Uh, and we just need our playmakers uh, to make one more play than our opponents and see if we can't keep this thing going.
Well, Coach, you guys have got a huge game tonight. You go up against a much improved Maplewood team. I think the winner of this game gets to avoid a really good Livingston Academy team next week by taking third. How did Coach Broom's squad look on film this week?
Typical. Okay, they're good. You look at their schedule, and they have played one of the hardest schedules in our state.
Right.
They've jumped up there and played against some of the really big 6A schools that are really good. They've played the private schools that are really good. And I guess they dropped down to play Pearl Cone, but I believe Pearl Cone can play with about anybody this year.
Mm-hmm.
So their losses, they've got beat by Marshall County like we did. They've gotten beaten by Nolensville like we did.
Right.
So it'll be a ball game where whose playmakers will make those plays to make the difference in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of playmakers, Coach, we know that one of their key players is number 20, Alex Broom, which we assume that's the coach's son.
It is.
You know as well as anybody, how hard is it to stay neutral when you're coaching your own kid?
Well, I always put a buffer between my children and myself when I had my sons coming through here.
Right.
They had a position coach, and that position coach is who they had to answer to,
That's
because
smart.
as a head coach, and now if your son's an All-American, it's not as difficult. But if they're an average high school football player, then everybody sits there and says, well, the only reason they're playing is because of the coach's son. And head coaches have a tendency to be harder on their own children because they don't want everybody saying you're playing them because they're your son. And so it's not
Absolutely.
fair to
Right.
those athletes. They're
Mm-hmm.
in a no-win situation unless they're just head and shoulders above everybody else. And in my situation, my two sons were not, and one of them didn't get to play until his senior year. The other one got to play his junior and senior year as far as getting on the field a lot.
Right.
You're exactly right. I coached my own kids as well. You're right. That's a tough to deal with there. You don't want to play favorites, but then you don't want to be unduly unfair to them as well. You're right. That's a tough rope to toe there.
Yes.
Mike Moulton, Lee Teat talking Wildcat head coach John Olive here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, you got senior quarterback Ben Fulton. He's having another great season for you guys. I think he's completed 64% of his passes, 11 TDs, only 5 INTs. He's also rushed for 8 TDs. Talk a minute about Ben and his development over the last 2 seasons as a starting quarterback and what he's meant to Tullahoma Athletics as both a football player and a basketball player.
Well, he is obviously contributed to both sports. Became a all-region pick in football last year, and has been an all-district pick in basketball. I think both his sophomore and junior seasons. He's great. He's got a great eye at shooting a basketball, and for us in football, one of our coaches said to him, says, Ben, why couldn't you have had this year last year? If we had you with those other guys that we had last year, we might be rolling along right now. And but you got to have that year of maturing, and he's matured and has done a great job for us. And of course, last week, I think didn't complete as many as he normally does. I think he was only 6 out of 11, so he didn't hit that 64%. But he ended up throwing 3 long touchdown passes and just made and I think the biggest difference we've seen in him is that when he chooses to run with the football, he's become a difference maker.
Right.
Cool. Coach, 2 other kids that have had a great season for you guys are senior Brian Nelms and a junior in Jacoby Thomas. Talk a little bit about them 2 kids.
Well, Brian is the young man that earned the right to wear number 8 this year, the Eli Grove jersey.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And he has been a great leader for us. He works extremely hard, and he was not a true running back. He has tried to develop himself, and he has made so much improvement at being able to make that cut and accelerate. Brian came to us as a lineman, but he had pretty good speed, and we really weren't sure about our running back situation, and so Brian has stepped in there. He obviously starts on the defensive side of the ball at defensive end. So we've come up with several different packages. One of them is we take Jacoby Thomas from wide receiver and move him to running back, as well as Hunter Palmer, as we have tried to break up the load a little bit there with the running backs and give us a little bit different looks, because Jacoby is a really, really good athlete. And if you miss him, he's tough to tackle in the secondary because he's big enough to push the smaller DBs down, and he can make that one step and make you miss him.
Well, I mean, you kind of led into my next question. My follow-up question, Jacoby, I think he's caught 20 passes. He and Hunter Palmer, I think, have been Fulton's favorite targets this season. Only 34 yards, Coach, separate your passing and your rushing yardage for the season. You've been, I think, very balanced this year, which, in my opinion, that's a very key element to being successful in high school football.
Well, I know this, that when it comes to defending people, if I can box them into what I think they're going to do, we've got a pretty good chance of stopping them.
Right.
It's those that you can't. And so being balanced is very advantageous.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, we talked a lot about your offense, but your defense is led by senior Jacob Floyd. I think he's been very effective for you this year. Talk a minute about that side of the ball and the great job Coach Sisk has done for the team.
Well, Coach Sisk has had a really, really good defense last year that just got better and better as we went through the year. Yep. This defense has been a little bit of a surprise, and the main reason it's a surprise is because of the play of Jacob Floyd. If I had to give an award out for most improved player, he would get it. And Jacob and Justin Scott have improved tremendously at the 2 inside linebacker positions. And we're pretty strong up front now. We're a physical football team up there in that front line, and that's helped us out. Sometimes, like last week, we had a hard time slowing Giles County down as they got an outstanding offense. But made one huge goal line stand, stopped them twice from the 1 yard line, and then made another 4-down stand there in the middle of the field that allowed us to get the ball in great field position and put the game away. And so they've been a little bit of a surprise this year, but they've been the most consistent part of our football team this year. They have held up well against the pass. We've given up a couple of long shots, but not many, and we really have played well against the run.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, we talked about it earlier. You coaching your two sons there at Tullahoma, but now they're both sitting up there as co-offensive coordinators. Do you still call the plays, or has one of the younger Olives taken over the role?
No, Caleb Olive calls the plays.
Gotcha.
Jared and Caleb put the offensive game plan together in conjunction with Coach Perez and Coach Shaw. And they kind of came out of our weekend meetings knowing what they want to try to do. And if we have designed a new play for any reason, whatnot. But on Friday nights, you can only have one play caller, and Caleb is the one that's doing the play calling. We felt like he was the one that sees things really well in real time without having to go back and look at videotape.
We're talking to Wildcat head coach John Olive here on the Friday Minute Man. Coach, you guys, you do have the two region losses you mentioned earlier to Marshall County and Nolensville. The Nolensville game was really close. The Marshall County game, not so much. Was Marshall County just a tougher matchup for you guys, or did you feel the team just didn't play as well in that game?
They're a tough matchup. They're very, very athletic, and I think Coach Osteen had his team ready to play that night. We had been fortunate enough to beat them last year by 1 point and 2 points, and I think they wanted to deliver a message to us.
They had y'all circled on the calendar.
We helped them out. They were 20-0, and we hadn't even got through halfway through the first quarter.
Right.
And we played better in the second half, but at the same time, they had a big lead, so that changes, and I understand that, that changes the dynamics.
Absolutely.
But we felt, we'd like to have another shot at Marshall. We'll take another shot at Nolensville. We just won't be playing in that second round.
That's right.
That's right. I hear you. Well, Coach, good luck to you tonight, buddy. I know it's a huge game for you guys, man. Lee and I will be rooting for you. We think you do a tremendous job over there at Tullahoma. We always enjoy you coming on and talking football with us.
Well, I appreciate you guys including us in the show tonight, and you guys are always welcome to come here if we ever get a big enough game.
we were going to come there, and you moved it to Thursday on us. We already had it.
I understand.
We got John Olive on the phone. You probably Coach Bobby Sharp, Hall of Famer, just walked up on us.
Well, you tell Bobby hello.
John Olive said tell you hello.
All right.
He said hello back to you. Well, Coach, good luck to you tonight.
All right. Tell Bobby to come flying through Tullahoma every now and then here and pick me up one time.
He said
he likes to fly in out here and land and just his landings and takeoffs.
We'll be
have to get him to talk about it.
We'll do that. I didn't know that. We'll definitely bring that up to him.
All right.
Thanks to you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
See you, buddy.
All right. See you.
Coach, let me take a break here and we'll get you mic'd up. This is Mike Moulder and Lee Teat, Friday Minute Event. We'll be back after this. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a new sponsor who joined us this season, Elaborate Images. Marcia and her husband, Sheldon, they've been in business since 2007. They've got thousands of customers across Middle Tennessee now. They are located right here in Unionville, close to where I live, actually. But Marcia does a phenomenal job. Everything we've got from them, hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts. They even designed the banner we use now. They do excellent work. It's top quality work. All the merchandise that they use is top notch. You're not going to get the cheap stuff you get at a lot of the online websites I used to use. So I'd strongly suggest you check out Elaborate Images, and again, go to elaborateimages.com. Ask for Marcia. They've got a phone number contact there. Matter of fact, I'll give you that number now, 931-703-5410 is how you can get in touch with her if you don't want to go online again. 931-703-5410. That's Elaborate Images. They've got all the Friday Men event apparel already set up, and you can tell her what you want from us. Or if you just want to go out on your own and get something designed for your business, I mean, they're great. They're we've been using them for a couple of years now. She decided to be a sponsor of the Friday Men event this year, and we're very grateful to have them on board. So check them out, elaborateimages.com. All right, we are back here, Friday Main Event. We're in Forest. We're in Chapel Hill, Forest High School, getting ready for a big showdown, Region 5 showdown with Lewis County. We've got the Hall of Famer, the man himself, Bobby Sharp, on with us. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Well, man, Lee and I, man, we really appreciate you jumping on and talking a little football with us. I think now in your 32nd season here at Lewis County, I'm 52, so that means you've been coaching since right after I got out of high school. What's the biggest difference? I mean, I know there was no cell phones, there was no huddle accounts, no social media back when you got started. What do you think's the biggest difference between now and back when you started coaching?
Well, of course, cell phones are the big thing now. You know, you can't get kids off of them, but you know, the computers. We've had computers ever since I've got in it. You know, scouting and everything when I was in Milan, Tennessee. So that hadn't changed a whole lot. And of course, we've been real involved in. Before Huddle, it was DSV, so we was involved in that. And, but you know, it's still blocking, tackling, and just like it was 50 years ago.
Right.
Well, you know, speaking of that, everybody got all excited last week when Coach Pruitt, you know, reached up there and grabbed his quarterback and gave his face mask a tug. You know, back when I was a kid, nobody thought anything of that from a coach. You know, as a coach now who's seen a bunch of generations graduate, do you feel this generation, man, you got to treat them a little different, or?
Well, I tell you who I learn a lot from. I study a lot of the stuff that Nick Saban says, and you know, he said you got to make it about the kids now. You know, they're different, and you might as well get over it.
That's right.
Because they are different, and you know, I always heard that growing up, and I know y'all did too. But you know, kids are in a different generation than they've ever been. It's a me generation, but you know, we still got great kids. I mean, they're well disciplined. They listen. We're a little bit old school compared to a lot of people. You know, I may reach up and grab a face mask every once in a while.
That's right.
But the good thing about it, most of the guys I've got playing, you know, I coach their dad.
Right.
And you know, my whole coaching staff played for me, so I'm real fortunate in Lewis County.
That's right.
That's kind of like Coach Ollie. You know what probably amazed me about your career, Coach, as much as anything, is 28 straight years in the postseason. I mean, I think that's probably easier to do in the larger schools, but when you're dealing with a smaller student body, you know, that's harder to maintain that type of excellence, you know, for that long. What's made you guys able to do that for so long?
Well, I've had good assistant coaches. I've had good players, and then classification has been very favorable to us. And probably classification is probably the biggest thing. I mean, you can see it from Chapel Hill that we're playing tonight. You know, when before the classification changed where we came down, you know, a lot of those schools that were a little bit bigger kind of dominated. And, you know, you got a different sense of privates have gone out. It's brought more schools down. But classification, I think, is a great equalizer in high school football.
Good point.
Well, Coach, you know, been at this a long time, man. You've seen a lot of great players come through your program. Who would you say, maybe not even the best football player, but who's your favorite player you ever coached?
Oh, that's a hard one. I wouldn't even attempt, you know, to
who's your best player, you
My
think?
best player is Randall Hankins, bar none. And his son's actually playing for me tonight. He plays tackle.
Really?
His dad was a fullback, was a linebacker. But he's tough to beat now, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've had a lot of good ones. I'd hate to single any of them out.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, Coach, you know, speaking of guys that have played for you, man, we've got a lot of guys that come on our show that have once sat under your tutelage there at Lewis County. Most recently, Kevin Creasy, Nick Patterson. How many guys that are currently head coaches have coached under you?
Well, a lot of them have gotten in and gotten out, so it's not as many as it was. But, of course, Nick, you know, he was a head coach before he came and worked with me, and certainly he's had great football background when he was at Riverdale and working for Coach Rankins. But Kevin Creasy, he's probably the guy that, is associated with us more than anything because he's from Lewis County and he's done such an outstanding job. But, Kevin, the great thing he did, he started out and he went to some pretty rough places starting out, and he ended up at Trisdale, and that kind of flipped everything around for him.
Right.
But I've tried to hire him, on several occasions, and never could get him to come back home. That's probably smart on his part.
We had him on a couple of weeks ago, and he brought you up. He said that he was trying. We actually was interviewing Satterfield over at Trousdale County, and he said he was trying to be the go-between, getting that week 3 game set up between you guys. He said you didn't want to go to the Creek Bank.
Well, I'm not going back to the Creek Bank. I took a butt whooping there years ago, and I told them when I left we wasn't coming back. But now we've scrimmaged them in Murfreesboro.
Right.
And of course that's almost a 3-hour drive on the bus.
Yeah, that's all.
And I told him, I said, we'll meet. I said Kevin's, would let us play, on the turf.
Right.
Be a great venue, and we tried to work it out and just didn't get it worked out.
All right. Well, we're talking Lewis County head coach Bobby Sharp here, Hall of Famer. Coach, you guys got a big region game tonight. Forest undefeated. I'm sure you guys have been able to watch some film on them this week. How do you think the two teams stack up tonight?
Well, I mean, when you look at it on paper and you go back and look and see, who we played, certainly you got to give Forest the edge in this ball game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got a great year going. They're undefeated. Coach Stevenson and his staff done a great job. Hey, his kids are playing hard, and a lot of these kids that he's got, they've been playing for him starting for 3 years. So,
right.
I mean, they've got a lot of good things going. But, it's a great challenge for us, coming in. Certainly we want to come out and try to compete and do the best we can. But, it's a good measuring stick for us because they're probably the best football team we played this year.
Right.
And we're going to find out, if we're going to be able to compete in the playoffs or if we're just going to be a participant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Coach, often in the wing tee, you'd expect to see a fair amount of rushing yardage from your QB. But Huntley Pace's primary job, I think, this year in your offense has been to distribute the ball to your playmakers, Christian and Justin Nash. That'd be a correct assumption? Or?
Yeah, it would. I mean, Huntley, he's been with me for a long time. His dad coached with me for 12 years, and I've known him since he's a little bitty kid. And, the great thing about him, he's a great leader.
Mm-hmm.
Kids follow him. And, of course, the thing he's able to do is, to run the offense for us and get it to the playmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the Nash boys, they've done a great job. I know
cousins, right?
They're cousins. And, of course, Tig, he's on the verge of being our all-time touchdown leader.
Really?
I mean, he's got a shot at it if we play any at all in the playoffs.
You hope he gets it, right?
Yeah, I
that means you did good.
Yeah, I mean, and but he's been working on that mark. He's a 3-year starter.
Right.
And of course his cousin started when he was a sophomore, and then it's kind of unusual. Last year we had a kid that he graduated when he was 17.
Mm-hmm.
He just turned 17. That finally matured and was one of those fast kids that kind of worked his way in front of him. But he's back this year, so. Those two kids are just doing a great job for us. And, of course, I'd love to run behind this line we've got. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you'll be shocked when you see how big that we really are.
That's what I was fixing to ask you about. That's the thing about running this wing tee. You don't necessarily have to be big on the line to be successful with that wing tee, but you guys are. I mean, I counted, 12 guys on your roster over 240. I think 3 of those guys, Purdue, Spartman, and Stevens, they were topping the 300-pound mark. Talk about those guys a minute.
Okay, of course Purdue, he's the big one. He's a 4-year starter, been All-State the last 2 years.
Right.
I mean, he's already committed to college. He hadn't made up his mind where he's going to go, but he's got several offers, and we're excited about him. Of course, he's trimmed down from about 345 to about 315. And he's the small one up there.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is.
And we've got our center is Dakota Stevens. Of course, Dakota, he probably tops in about 345. And then Trey Sparkman, he's a 15-year-old sophomore. He's about 6'5.5", and he's about 350, 355.
What are they feeding them down there?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I told a guy that came and worked for me that used to coach at Franklin. He said, Coach, I can't understand how you get all these guys so big. And I said, I'm going to tell you the secret. I said, it's chocolate gravy and biscuit.
That's right. That sounds good too.
Yeah, I could go over that.
Well, let's go the other way a little bit, Coach Sharp. You got a kid, man, on your defensive side of the ball, a sophomore, 5'5", 150 in the secondary, Kel Fletchinger, leading the team in tackles, man. Talk about that kid.
Well, actually, he's a linebacker. And,
Okay.
he's 5'5", and, of course, we hope he's going to grow a little bit. But, he's one of those, he's got 4 cousins on this team. All of them are first cousins. All their dads, except his, played for me. And, of course, we played against his dad. His dad played over at Hickman County. But they've all, ended up in Lewis County, and we're excited about him. He's one of those, just an overachiever, but he's going to be a good one before he gets out of high school.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mike Mulder and Lee Teat. We're talking with Lewis County head coach Bobby Sharp here on the Friday main event. Coach, if you get the win tonight, I think the way it lines up, you guys would host Hickman County next week. If it doesn't go your way, most likely Riverside next week. Have you had a chance to look at either one of those teams? Do you, what's your thoughts?
Well, actually, we played both of them this year.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Actually, I had that in my notes.
Yeah,
you saw both teams. That's right.
And, of course, the only time we didn't rush for over 300 yards this year was in our opener against Riverside. And,
okay.
I'd love to play Riverside again. Just see how we would do after we've kind of got everything clicking.
Right.
And they're the team that put us out last year, and we thought we had a really good team last year, and they came in and, put us out in the second round. Mm-hmm. But we've also played Hickman County, and that's our rival. Mm-hmm. I mean, we played them, all the way back to the 20s.
Right.
And and I've got a former coach that coached for me that's over there coaching the defense. So, it'd be a great challenge going back against them.
That's
so.
Right.
That would be the preference, right? That means you won the region, right?
Yeah, now we'd love to do that, but I'm gonna tell you what, the way this thing's shaking out this year, it just getting in is the big thing because anybody can beat anybody in these 2 regions. And,
absolutely.
And I think it doesn't matter who's going to end up 1 or 3 or 2 out of this game tonight. There's a good chance we might see them again. They might see us.
That's right.
Yep,
that's exactly right.
Well, Coach, I guess we need to let him go, don't we, Lee?
Yes, sir. I've enjoyed
talking to you. Me and Lee have been looking forward to this all week.
He won me over with chocolate gravy and biscuits, man.
We don't, man. We don't get talk to a guy that's been around this, football as much as you have very often. So we really appreciate you coming over here and talking to us.
Well, I appreciate that, and of course, hey, don't equate me with Kevin Creasy though, because he's a lot better football coach than I am. And, hey, I try to emulate a lot of the stuff he does.
He's a good one. We like having him on with us. He's a good one, no doubt. But there's been a lot of them that's learned their trade under you, so that's a credit to you.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's well overstated, though.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck to you tonight, Coach.
Sharp. Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you jumping on with us, buddy.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you.
Yes, sir.
I got your number now. I'm going to call you again. Thanks, Coach. All right, Lee Teat. Anytime you can get a man that's been coaching football as long as that fella right there has,
he's seen it all.
That's saying a lot.
Like
man.
I said, I ain't lying. He won me over when he started talking about gravy and biscuits. That's my kind of guy right there, man.
Lee, this is why I do this.
That's my kind of guy right there.
Getting to talk to people like that. That's
yes,
why.
Sir. There ain't no telling how much, Like
if I knew half of what he's forgot, I would know more than most people in this state.
Sir. Yes, sir.
He's a good one, man. But Coach Sharp, man, we appreciate you coming on with us, man.
Absolutely.
Lee, I'll tell you what, brother, I'm going to take a quick break here and get everything lined up. We got a bunch of big games to talk about. We got playoff football to talk about. Exciting night for high school football. We are at Forest High School. Forest hosting Lewis County. Region 5 title on the line. I am Mike Mulder. He's Lee Teat, and we're going to be back after this. Hey, brother. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you a minute about our title sponsor, CoachT.com. We appreciate Jim Thompson and all the guys over at Coach T joining up with us. We'll be partnered with them for the second consecutive year. So, Friday Man Event, we're honored to be associated with such a great website. If you're into high school sports, whether you play, you have a child that plays, or just an ordinary fan, CoachT.com is a place you need to check out. And it's not just football. I mean, football is is probably the biggest reason people visit CoachT.com. But if you have a kid into any other sport, softball, baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, if it's a high school sport, most likely you're going to find some information on CoachT.com. But what I want to talk to you about in particular is the Coach T Plus membership, which I happen to be a part of. For the second year in a row, the Coach T Plus membership will be donation based. So you decide what Coach T is worth to you. That's what's so great about the website. You can make as much commitment to the website as you feel comfortable with. Now, myself, I'm on the website, multiple times a day, as a matter of fact. So, I feel like I owe it to the website and I owe it to Coach T to make a nice donation, and hopefully you guys will feel that commitment as well. We do want to keep the website running. Many of us get a lot of enjoyment out of the website, but the Plus membership, you get access to certain boards that you don't have as just a regular member of Coach T. So that's one reason to join the Plus membership. Another reason is you're kind of the captain of your team. You're in charge of the scheduling, or I should say the correction. If there's any corrections need to be made to schedules, any corrections need to be made to the scores that are reported, you have the ability to do that. And that's what the Coach T Plus membership, it kind of provides you a certain degree of ownership into the website. So please check it out, man. It's on the front page. You go to the home page, again, CoachT.com. There's a tab right there where you can click and become a Coach T Plus member. And just because you are now, don't assume you are forever. That is a one-year membership, so you need to double check, make sure your membership has not expired. Again, from the Friday Man event, we appreciate CoachT.com and hope you guys appreciate them as much as we do. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a new sponsor who joined us this season, Elaborate Images. Marcia and her husband, Sheldon, they've been in business since 2007. They've got thousands of customers across Middle Tennessee now. They are located right here in Unionville, close to where I live, actually. But Marcia does a phenomenal job. Everything we've got from them, hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts. They even designed the banner we use now. They do excellent work. It's top quality work. All the merchandise that they use is top notch. You're not going to get the cheap stuff you get at a lot of the online websites I used to use. So I'd strongly suggest you check out Elaborate Images, and again, go to elaborateimages.com. Ask for Marcia. They've got a phone number contact there. Matter of fact, I'll give you that number now. 931-703-5410 is how you can get in touch with her if you don't want to go online. Again, 931-703-5410. That's Elaborate Images. They've got all the Friday Men event apparel already set up, and you can tell her what you want from us. Or if you just want to go out on your own and get something designed for your business, they're great. We've been using them for a couple of years now. She decided to be a sponsor of the Friday Men event this year, and we're very grateful to have them on board. So check them out, elaborateimages.com. All right, Mr. Teat, we are back. Forest High School. We got Lewis County Panthers coming over here. Forest Rockets, Region 5 title on the line. Should be a good one.
I think it is. It's going to be a slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
Yes, sir.
Well, you heard Coach Sharp talking about the size of them linemen, man. Good gosh.
Yep. It's going to be an interesting ball game. If I think it's going to get down and dirty and get down to the wire. I do.
Yeah, no doubt. I ain't even got a shot of the field out here yet, Lee. I forgot all about that. But we got a lot of games to talk about tonight, brother.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm always ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, we'll get it going here. I'm giving a little shot of the field there. You can't tell a whole lot about it because the sun's. I think once the sun goes down and the lights get on the field, you'll be able to tell more about it. But obviously, you can see the home stands, scoreboard in the background.
It's not in bad shape for week 11.
No, it's not. You're right.
Actually, looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good, no doubt.
It's held up very good.
Matter of fact, I think I got to swap off of that for now until we get some kids out there warming up or something. Something a little more interesting to look at.
Where
I'm sure they'd rather look at us, wouldn't they?
I don't know. They might rather watch that grass grow.
That's true. That's a good point. Lee Teat, we got our Super 25, brother, and if fans want to get access to that, they can go to FridayMainEvent.com, and there's a tab, Super 25 tab. You can go there now if you like, and you'll know what games we're going to be talking about. And for the most part, Lee Teat, we're going to be talking about games that have implications on the I don't know what's going on the playoffs.
Yes.
So, but the first one is not. It's Powell at South Doyle, and of course Powell Panthers. Matt Lowe. We had Matt Lowe on with us recently.
Sure did.
Still undefeated. I think that's going to be a great game tonight, Lee.
I think it's got some potential to have some fireworks, but I like Powell, man. We've been on them all year.
Yeah.
We talked about them in the preseason. I think I'm gonna go Powell.
Well, if you look at that, of course, that's a Region 5 matchup. If we go ahead and put that up, these guys, a good possibility we wind up seeing, this team. Of course, this is a quad one, which South Doyle's in.
Yes,
There's a good
correct.
chance we could potentially see these teams again in the semifinals.
It's a possibility.
Now, South Doyle, the way it sits right now, they'll take on Cherokee. They'll host them. They've already been determined they'll be the 1 seed. They'll host Cherokee, and then in all likelihood, I don't know about that next matchup, Daniel Boone and Halls. That may wind up being a pretty darn good game there.
So too.
But I would favor South Doyle in that match there. And then you're looking at, in all likelihood, they hook back up with Central, but Tennessee.
Well, they got one loss.
Yeah, what Tennessee have they even got a loss?
I don't even know.
It'd be Crockett.
Yeah. That's a pretty tough quad, really.
So if you look at this quad, I think Lee, you gotta assume it's going to be South Doyle against the Central,
Knox Central,
and Tennessee winner.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I do.
I was all in on Crockett, man, but they've lost a couple of games now, so I don't really know what's going on with them. So looking at that quad one, I think you'd have to look at South Doyle, and then again Central or Tennessee most
high.
likely.
Yeah.
Then if you look at quad two, which is their opponent tonight, Powell's already locked up the 1 seed in Region 3, and they should cruise up until I would assume Oak Ridge. I think right now I'd have to say, I don't know. What do you like, Oak Ridge or Ray County?
I think Oak Ridge probably is who Powell
will face
square off with, but I think
and then
Powell
West
gets out of this quad unscathed, to be honest with you.
Do you think West and Powell are on a collision course there in the third round?
I do, but I think Powell get them again.
So I guess
right now I do.
I guess
barring
essentially
injuries and stuff like that, if they're both healthy, I'm gonna say Powell.
So probably what we're looking at for the game tonight between South Doyle and Powell, we got a possible semifinal preview.
You
buying that?
Yes, sir. It very well could.
And you're all over Powell.
Yes, sir. I like Powell.
Well, Elijah Young is having a phenomenal year, 1,600 yards, 32 TDs in just 8 games for South Doyle. I think they've been running a little wildcat with him. He had 252 yards, 5 touchdowns against Central, 38-10 over Central.
Lost to Anderson County, though. Powell beat them.
Okay, but Powell was behind that game most of the time. Come back in the fourth quarter and beat them.
That's true.
So I think this is a pretty good matchup.
I do too. That's what.
How much do you show tonight, knowing that you might potentially run into this team later?
Oh, dude,
do you hold anything back, or do you let it rip?
I'm trying to go undefeated.
So Powell would not hold anything
back.
You're
asking the wrong person for that, man. I mean, I don't like to.
So you're all in, huh?
Yeah, we're going to play, I'm playing.
Well, I mean, how often do you play for an undefeated season?
That's right.
The whole thing.
That's right.
So you like Powell, and Lee Teat, I'm going to agree with you. I like Powell also. I think it's a good game, though. Next game.
We're talking about this right
here.
Yeah, right?
Central and Gibbs. Of course, Brad Turner's team 6-3, 3-2, taking on Knox Central. And, how many games? I forgot. It was like 20 games Coach Rosser had won. 20, 21 games. What was it? I don't know. Anyway, they had a long winning streak snap last
Mm-hmm.
week.
By South Doyle.
By South Doyle, exactly. Central won this game 46-0 last year. Falver, he's completing 63% of his passes, 1,514 yards, 19 TDs to only 2 interceptions. If there's any quality you want in a quarterback, it's the fact that he can take care of the ball. And Falver's done a really good job of that.
Yeah, I like Dakota Falver. I think Knox Central gets this game. I don't know. What do you think? What are you looking at score-wise? What do you think?
I don't think they have much trouble in this game, Lee, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Again, if we look at that quad 2 and what that's going to do, we've already I'm sorry, that's be quad 1, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Keep me straight, Lee. So basically that's going to knock Gibbs down to 4th place in their region. Should they lose, they'll take on Tennessee. And then we got a potential rematch if they could get by Tennessee. I don't think they will, but the way the quad lays out, there's a potential for a second round rematch.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Tennessee's a pretty darn good ball team this year.
I think so too.
So that's kind of the breakdown of that one. So we're both going obviously with Central in this one, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Lee. So game number 23, Upperman, Sequatchie County. This is another game with playoff implications in that if Sequatchie was to win this game at 6-3, that'd make them 7-3. They'd actually win the region title over the Bees.
Not happening.
Not happening.
No, sir.
You're not buying that?
No, sir. I think McAllister, quarterback up there at Upperman, he's having a lights out year. True dual threat.
Right.
Had a tough go last week, but we talked about Watertown defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Probably schemed them about as good as anybody, but did that give Sequatchie County the game plan?
Right.
To how to defend him, I don't know. But I like Upperman. I think they're playing too good right now.
I do too. And you talked about McAllister, Lee. He's closing in on 1,000 yards passing and rushing. He's thrown nine TDs to 2 interceptions. He's rushed for another 10 TDs. So
yep.
He's the total package, man. And then if you go and look at their quad and how that's laid out, that would be quad 4-2, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's quad 4.
So if we look at that, no, that's not right, is it, Lee?
Quad 3.
I'm sorry. It'd be 3A, quad 2. I'm sorry. Bear with us, folks. We're trying to work all this out. And we've got like 25 different selections to pick here.
Yeah.
3A, quad 2. There we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, Upperman, the way it looks now, or the way it is, they will, should they win, and again, Lee and I feel like they should. They'll play the loser between Sweetwater and Signal Mountain. And then if you look at Sequatchie's lineup, again, this is another situation. I think you see a rematch in 2 weeks of this game. Sequatchie, they'll play the loser between Loudon and Red Bank. Well, that was if they got by that game. I don't think they will. Do you, Lee?
No. I don't think you'll see a rematch.
No, I don't either. Now that I realize who they're up against, and we're going to talk about that game here in a minute, Lee. But that's the layout of 3A quad 2 that both of these teams will be in. And I like Upperman. I think Upperman probably wins this game pretty handily tonight. You agree with that, Lee T?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, Mr. Teat. So we haven't split yet. You're kind of making this a boring show, man. You need to go out on your.
Go out on
you
my.
need to go out on your own, man. Big, yeah. Come with the big. That's what I like to hear.
Every time I do it, it's big. All right.
What was it? Was it Waverly?
Waverly. Yeah. Got me good.
Got you good.
Yeah.
You hear that, Randall Bolden? You kind of
got me, man.
Kind of let him down last week, partner.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lee. The next game we got on here, we'll head over to West Tennessee. We got Whitehaven hosting Memphis Central. This is actually for a region title as well, potentially, because if there's only 4 teams in this region.
Yes.
So if Central knocked off Whitehaven, that will put them in position. Well, actually, I'll take that back, Lee. I think that would give them a 3-way tie between White Station, Memphis Central, and Whitehaven, which Whitehaven would still claim it. So I guess it's not a true region title when you look at it in that respect. But I don't think it'll matter. I don't think Central's got a chance against Whitehaven. You?
No, sir.
If you look at the scoring averages and look at Whitehaven, they're giving up an average of 3.8 points a game on the season. They haven't been scored upon in the region yet. So,
Well, you're not going to when you have Bryson Eason, Martavius French, and Tamarian McDonald. I mean, it's three of the best linebackers core you're ever going to see
well,
in high school football.
that was a good get for Coach Pruitt up at UT, wasn't it?
Well, I think the one that'll make the immediate impact, probably play a little earlier, is French.
Yeah. Well, when we turned our Mr. Football ballots in, we were mulling over possibly putting one of those linebackers in. So I text Coach Salisbury and asked him, if we did insert one of your linebackers, who is the most deserving, and that was the name he gave me. So
I think, but Eason and McDonald are both lights out players.
yeah, and if you look at that 6A quad 4, the way that's going to lay out, you got Whitehaven's going to host Collierville, and then Central will host Bartlett. Now this is a possible rematch, Lee. Central may get Bartlett. What's your thoughts on that one? I mean, I'm not asking you to predict games for next week, but do you think that could possibly happen?
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I could
exactly.
see them rematch.
And
Sure.
then looking on over that, White Station should get the 2 seed, and then Germantown's going to fall to the 4 seed, Lee.
Boy, that gives Houston a tough match in the first round, don't
I
it?
don't know. I don't think Germantown's as good this year. I think they're down. If you look at their record, man, they're not. I don't think they're anywhere what they were the last couple of years anyway. I like Houston by quite a bit in that game, to be honest with you.
Lincoln Parr.
Yeah, he's a stud, isn't he?
He is.
Good.
I think we got him in this 25, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Matter of fact, I think he was one of them that we were mulling over turning out. I don't want to give away. I don't want to reveal all of our Mr. Football picks because
He was in the discussion.
he was in the discussion. I don't want to open ourselves up for a lot of criticism.
That's right.
I mean, we turned in the 3 that we felt were worthy in every class, and
He definitely was in the discussion.
there's a reason why those ballots are private, because I don't want to listen to a bunch of fluff about, oh, you didn't put our guy in.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
No.
That's the way it is, ain't it?
Right.
All right, Lee Teat. So no splits as of yet. You did you pick Memphis Central? Oh no. I was trying to get you to go there, man.
Oh man.
How about this one? There's a potential split here as their next game is Jackson Southside, Jackson Northside.
Mm-hmm.
And this, if you'll remember, Lee, last year Jackson Southside entered this game undefeated, and Northside beat them 26-7. Northside, by far, I think, played the tougher schedule last year. Maybe so this year as well. They had a pretty tough schedule with Dyersburg. They had Hardin County, Haywood. They had Beach. They had a really tough schedule. What's your thoughts on this game, partner?
Man, Jackson Southside beat Union City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, but Darren Bowling's team isn't playing as well as they normally do, so I don't want to read a whole lot into that win.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Jackson Northside's losses are to Lexington, Haywood, and Beach. That's pretty
stout.
stiff competition right
Exactly.
there. Yeah, I'll probably go with Northside.
Yeah, I like Northside also, and we look how their quad plays out, Lee Teat, and we see that wrong one, sorry. That'd be quad 3. The Northside Southside winner will take on Montgomery Central.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's the way I got it. Are you under the impression that I did that incorrectly? And then
So the winner of Creekwood Springfield takes the region.
yeah, that's the way I got it, Lee. I'm not going to second guess myself at this point in time.
Montgomery Central just sitting solely at 2.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're in 2 either way, and then the 3 spot would be the loser of Springfield and Creekwood. Yeah, maybe Trevor will check us on that. I know he's watching.
Yeah.
He's the one that tells us this is a big game, and then Portland, I think, is 4 seed. I looked it over earlier this week, Lee, and I think that's the way it's going to play out. when you factor in tiebreakers and whatnot, the Creekwood Springfield winner should take the region. I believe that's the way I
Because of
had
that
it.
White House Heritage. Let's see. If White House Heritage upsets Montgomery Central, what? That's the White House thing.
White House Heritage is. I know I should have made that black text. I'm sure the folks are reading this also.
Third.
They would, yeah, they would get
That
in
man,
ahead
that's
of
crazy,
Portland.
ain't it?
Yeah, and move up to third, dropping Central to fourth seed. Believe it or not.
Golly, man.
But then we're talking about an upset now.
Yeah.
That would be WHH beating Central. That's possible, but not likely. But you know, after Central lost to White House last week, that kind of opened the door for a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So getting back to this game.
North side.
Oh, I was on north side. We got way out in left field on that, didn't we, brother? But yeah, getting back to this, I'm agreeing with you. I think Jackson Northside takes this game lead. Sorry, brother, I got way off on that one. I think we're actually going to talk about that Creekwood game a little bit later. So no splits yet, right?
Mm-mm. Hey, we're getting down to where
That's
we got
no fun, Lee.
We're going for the wins tonight. We got to.
That's no heart picks. It's who's going to win, right?
That's who I'm after.
Independence and Ravenwood. Ravenwood, man, they looked good last week, Lee. I know you had to head out a little early last week, but I got to watch them. But, man, that was cold and that was wet. And I still think Cane Ridge can play with Ravenwood. You know, we had Eddie Woods on earlier. They just didn't handle the conditions as well as Ravenwood did.
Yeah, I think athletically, Cane Ridge could probably play with anybody.
Right.
Especially out wide.
Right.
But, man, Ravenwood is sitting there at 8-1, lost to a really tough Brentwood squad, which that's a huge rivalry matchup.
Oh, yeah.
You know. I'm gonna go Raptors tonight, man.
Well, Ethan Cash, 1,866 yards passing, 17 TDs, 6 interceptions. Chase Bishop and Jackson Campbell, his two favorite targets, both of them have over 580 yards. Now,
right.
flip side, Garcia's got 1,650 yards. He's got 21 TDs to only 3 interceptions.
Right.
Andrew Mason looked really good last night.
Excuse me, sorry.
I was really impressed with him last week. He's had a big year, 753 yards, 12 TD receptions. So if you're looking at them on paper and looking at numbers, not a huge difference. But I think the X factor, you got to go Ravenwood. I think they may have a few more athletes.
I think so, but that's going to be a really good atmosphere.
Yeah,
over
no
there
doubt.
at Ravenwood, that's going to be a good atmosphere. Lots of talent on that field. Lots of talent.
Yeah, no doubt. And then you
be
look
a good one to go watch.
Yeah, you look at that quad there, Lee. The winner of this one will get the 2 seed, and they'll play the loser of Smyrna and Stewart's Creek, and then the loser of this game would play the winner of Smyrna and Stewart's Creek. So that's the way this quad here is going to play out. Quad 3 and 6A. Cane Ridge, and we mentioned Eddie Woods. He said that they would have Franklin. So this, other than this game and the Smyrna game, this quad here is pretty much laid out.
Yep, pretty locked down.
Brentwood will host McGavick. So big game tonight, and I agree with you. I think Ravenwood wins this game, and will go on to host probably Smyrna. I think we'll talk about that game in a minute, but Stewart's Creek's playing really good right now.
Yes, they are.
All right, Mr. Teat. So we are now at Bradley Central and McMinn County. McMinn County got shut out by Maryville last week.
They did. This game's been one I told you earlier. It's kind of
tough one to pick.
Pretty tough one to pick right here. It's at McMinn.
Yep.
They lost one loss. And that was to Merrill, which I don't really read too much into that.
Jalen Hunt having a big year for him, Lee Teat.
That's right.
He's got 1,162 yards, 9 TDs.
I don't know, man.
This was a tough one for me to pick, too.
I'm going to go Bradley Central.
Well, that's who I went with, Lee T, in the Big Ones contest on Coach T. I think I'm going to hedge my bet here, and I'm going to go McMinn. So that way I'll get the winner one way or the other.
Right.
Oh, I didn't realize we were that close to that. Awesome.
We'll get to hear that.
Yeah, get to hear that. Oh, well. All
Oh,
right.
Lordy.
You know how much I love rap, Lee. I didn't realize they were going to be right behind us doing that, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Try to get him to turn the mic, turn the
Speakers
that way a little.
I'm sure they were going to do that. They're not going to accommodate you, Lee T.
No, sir. All right. Shelbyville, Columbia.
Yeah, Lee. Shelbyville, K. Cunningham, having a really good year for them. That's my boy, as you know, sophomore. 1,371 yards, 63% completion rate, and 13 TDs to only 7 interceptions. Having a good year for the Golden Eagles.
Heck, he's got 400 some yards on the ground.
That's right. 6
TDs.
TDs. Yeah, 6 TDs rushing. That's my boy. I'm really happy with him. And that Shelbyville line is really, really good, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe this year Coach Palmer is more physical than he's ever been since he's been there.
Yeah.
I think they're more physical this year.
Yeah.
I like Shelbyville.
DeMarcus Smalls having a big year. Caleb Marsh, 2 guys leading them on the ground. Senior quarterback Dane Sykes, I think he's going to have the game of his life for Columbia if I got any chance in this one. Christian Biggers, he's had a lot of success running the ball, but he's got a very strong Shelbyville front 7 ahead of him.
Yeah.
And if you look at their quad Lee T, that would be 5A quad 3. The way that plays out right now, Shelbyville, should they win here, would host the winner between Hillsboro and Hunters Lane. And then Columbia will travel to Beach next week. So that's the way that quad's going to fold out, assuming Shelbyville, as expected, wins tonight. I like Shelbyville.
Shelbyville.
All right, brother. Heading on down, we got East Robertson and Watertown. We had Coach Gavin Webster on with us earlier.
Correct.
East Robertson has looked really good. I think the new quarterback at Watertown, Braden Casino, man, I've been really impressed with this kid so far. 67% completion rate, 1,490 yards, 13 TDs to 1 interception. That's pretty good for a sophomore.
But D-Ray, Demarius Carey, he's what drives Watertown's offense. And I think tonight, Watertown, I don't think they have any trouble tonight, Mike, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Let me cut the commercial just a minute. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a new sponsor who joined us this season, Elaborate Images. Marcia and her husband, Sheldon, they've been in business since 2007. They've got thousands of customers across Middle Tennessee now. They are located right here in Unionville, close to where I live, actually. But Marcia does a phenomenal job. Everything we've got from them, hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts. They even designed the banner we use now. I mean, they do excellent work. It's top quality work. All the merchandise that they use is top notch. You're not going to get the cheap stuff you get at a lot of the online websites I used to use. So I'd strongly suggest you check out Elaborate Images, and again, go to elaborateimages.com. Ask for Marcia. They've got a phone number contact there. Matter of fact, I'll give you that number now. 931-703-5410 is how you can get in touch with her if you don't want to go online. Again, 931-703-5410. That's Elaborate Images. They've got all the Friday main event apparel already set up, and you can tell her what you want from us. Or if you just want to go out on your own and get something designed for your business, I mean, they're great. We've been using them for a couple of years now. She decided to be a sponsor of the Friday main event this year, and we're very grateful to have them on board. So check them out, elaborateimages.com. All right, Lee.
Buddy, it's okay, man.
Yeah, well, I tried to get this.
It's all right, man.
This music turned down a little bit behind us, or redirected. But I mean, look. So I tried to be nice and walk back over here. Didn't say what I wanted to say.
It'll be okay, man.
I'm a little bit bigger than he is, but I didn't bring that up. I just left it the way it was. You proud of me?
Yes, sir.
I control my inner redneck. You should be proud of me, Lee.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I didn't know that they were going to set up right. Well, I mean, we were set up at 3 o'clock. You know, he's going to sit up right behind us and blast that music right in our ear. But anyway, it is what it is, right?
Yes, sir.
Be a trooper. Be a trooper, Mike. Be the bigger guy. Watertown. I like Watertown. You like Watertown?
I like Watertown.
Get off quiet. I didn't embarrass you, did I, partner?
No, I was. The more you just said that, my inner redneck is getting a little wound up,
hey,
man. But it is what it is.
He's getting paid to do his job. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
We're,
all right, so
we are at Kingston at Gatlinburg Pittman.
I'm gonna go GP. I think GP coming off that 49-0 shellacking, and maybe get back on track tonight.
You like GP?
Yeah, I'm gonna go GP tonight.
I'm gonna go GP too. Derek Ring, our boy up there. We really love Coach Ring.
That'll be for he's third seed.
Well, let's look at that. That'd be Class 3A, Quad 1. Look at that. You got GP Kingston. Loser will play Chucky Doak at Chucky Doak. The winner will play at the winner between Johnson County and Unicoi County. And I think Unicoi County, I like them in that one. So
yeah.
I think in all likelihood, if GP wins tonight, they'll probably go to Unicoi County would be my hunch. See, I've got something in my notes. Their AD sends me their stats every week, Lee. Unicoi County.
That's a good
I
deal.
thought I had his name. I don't have it in I meant to put it in my notes and I forgot. But, yeah, man, that's one of the – he's the only one in the whole state. AD sends me personally his stats every week. That's great, man. I apologize for not having your name in front of me. But, yeah, that is awesome, man. So you like GP, I like GP. So we got GP. Lee, Alcoa, they've been a lights out. I think they got 7 shutouts in 9 games this year. I think Maryville and Blackman are the only teams that have scored on them. Of course, you just mentioned they shut out Pittman last week.
That's right.
Dobbins Bennett was upset. Was you shocked by that one?
I was. I picked Dobbins Bennett.
I did too.
I was shocked by that.
Lost to Science Hill.
If this game was at Dobbins Bennett, I think it might scare me a little.
They might score.
It might scare me a little more. But it's at Alcoa, you know. But in this game tonight, does Dobbins Bennett it ain't got any implication, does it? It's a 6A versus a 3A.
No, it doesn't. Not any playoff implications at all. I don't know if you saw that in our notes or not, but they outgained Science Hill 320 to 215 in total yardage last week. They just had a lot of penalties.
That's right.
That's what the newspaper said. They had a lot of penalties. I like Alcoa.
I do too. I like Alcoa, but I'm wondering if Dobbins Bennett,
Well, if we look at that,
they set some guys this
possibly. If we look at that, they're going to be the 2 seed. Science Hill will be the 1 seed with the win last week. Then you've got as the 3 seed, Beard and Science. I'm sorry. Wait, I done got myself confused here, Lee. That didn't even make sense. I think I forgot to update this quad. Oops. Yeah, because I've got Beard and Science Hill winner. I think I had that in there before Science Hill pulled that upset.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't pay any attention to this one. I've obviously got this all screwed up. I'm sorry, Lee. I got a ton of crap going on, man. And apparently this is one quad I failed to update, or at least fully update. Anyway. Well, I guess if Science Hill's got Bearden tonight, that might change things up. Maybe. I didn't even read my notes down there. What was my notes say? If Bearden loses to Science Hill, this is what we have portrayed here. There you go, Lee. The 3 teams, Farragut, Bearden, and Hardin Valley, would be tied. Farragut at 5-5 with a win over Jefferson County would take the 3rd seed. Bearden would get the 4 seed, leaving Hardin Valley out. Bearden wins, that would move DB to first, Farragut up to second, and Bearden to third with Science Hill 4. In other words, this squad is crazy depending on that Science Hill Bearden game.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I guess that's why I didn't do it. I must have had a little bit too much to drink that night or something.
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea, yeah. Too much sweet tea that night. But, yeah, this is still crazy. So, anyway, getting back to the game, I like Alcoa. I'm assuming you like Alcoa also.
Yeah, definitely going Alcoa.
All right, Lee. Let's see what the next game is on the lineup as we are 11 games in. East Hamilton and Howard. At least we got good music on now, blasting in our ear. I can handle that better than rap. I'm not a big rap guy. East Hamilton and Howard. That's terrible, ain't it?
No.
Who do you like in the East Hamilton and Howard? The Hurricanes, Grant Reynolds squad, fell to Anderson County for the first region loss, 29-14 last week.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Walker Valley. They beat Hickson, Central, East Ridge. They lost to Red Bank and Saudi Davie. They take on a pretty good Howard team at 7-2 now. They beat East Ridge 26-0 last week. Their losses were to Anderson County and Stratford, 2 very good teams.
That's correct.
So, how does Lee Teat swing on this one?
Man, I like Grant Reynolds, but I don't know, can they go over to Howard and win?
It's tough, man, and especially coming off a heart-wrenching loss to Anderson County last week.
I'm going to go Howard.
You going Howard? Well, how about that? I can see it, man. I mean, Howard's
The
got a
losses
good.
are to Anderson County and Stratford, and we ain't got to Stratford yet, but everybody knows about the tailback they got. I don't know, buddy.
I don't know either, Lee. I'm kind of hung up on that also.
Oh, Lordy. Let's see who Donovan took in that one.
You gonna look Donovan up?
Yeah, I'll see who he took. Sorry, people.
See, that's gonna be. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to see what quad that was. I was sitting there flipping through all of them. So that's gonna be it right here. Way we've got that laid out, Lee. The winner of this game would be the 2 seed and would host Sullivan South. And then the loser of this game has to travel to Greenville. I'm going to split, Lee Teat. I'm going to go with East Hamilton. I'm going to go with my boy Grant Reynolds.
Are you?
Yep, I'm going to go with him.
You going with Donovan?
He got East Hamilton.
He took East Hamilton.
I'm going to go with him also. I'm a believer in Coach Reynolds. I think he's got it going on. I'm going to go with him. And I'm hoping this music gets just a little bit louder because I can almost hear myself think right now. I'm getting old, Lee. There was a day when I would have loved that, but it's long gone.
Well, interesting one right here.
Stewart's Creek at Smyrna, and we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, and we talked to Coach Woods about the job Burt Brown's done there at Stewart's Creek. You know what's crazy to me about Stewart's Creek? Amari Jelks, the kid you've been talking about all year. I didn't realize this kid is 5'5", 145.
Yes, sir.
I did not know that.
Unbelievable.
I just figured he was a truck by the numbers. And he's got, 1,331 yards, 9 TDs. I said, well, he must be a hoss. This kid is 145. And I checked 2 different sources. I checked Max Preps and I checked Huddle.
Yes, sir.
Both of them had him at that size.
He's not big at all.
He's not big at all, but he's a beast, isn't he?
He's fast.
Yeah.
He's real fast.
He's been the go-go juice behind the Redhawks this year.
Yes, sir.
So, what are your thoughts on this game? Matt Williams' team playing a whole lot better behind the freshman quarterback Landon Miller. What do you think? They beat Laverne pretty good.
I'm gonna go Stewart's Creek, man, because like you said, I like Amari Jelks. They got a kid over there, Savion Davis, a good ball player, but also Alex Crink has come in and played quarterback for them this year, and he is playing really well right now. Known that kid a long time. I used to lived right down the street from me.
Right.
I was glad to see him get that opportunity. He's been playing wide receiver, and they moved him into quarterback, and he's been playing really good. So I think Stewart's Creek gets it done.
I like Stewart's Creek also, Lee. I think they've done an excellent job this year. I know they were 3-7 last year. If you remember, they had a real tough schedule.
And played everybody tight.
Played everybody tight. That's what we said. There's probably the best 3-7 team in the state last year, and it's kind of come together for them this year. And really glad to see he's done a good job coming in behind another Hall of Famer in David Martin, and done a really good job with that Red Hawk program. Springfield and Creekwood, Lee.
This one Trevor was talking about.
This one Trevor was talking about. Both these teams are 4-1 in the region. That's why the winner of this one is going to get the region title, because Montgomery, with the loss last week, gives them 2 losses. So the winner of this game will win the region title. I kind of like Coach Steele's team right here, I think. They're at home. They beat Portland 46-0 last week. I think Portland's stud player is down now, somebody said.
Yeah.
And also Dustin Wilson's squad had a shutout over Lee Teets Greenbrier squad.
Oh, they're not playing good up there right now, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm going Red Hawks at home, man. I think too much Stansbury.
Yeah.
Too much Stansbury. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah. Well, he had 225 yards rushing and 4 scores last week in that Portland game, Lee. So he's kind of hitting his stride right now.
Yeah, I think Creekwood's ground attack is good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you, brother. I like them.
What about this one?
This one right here is an interesting game. We had John Olive on earlier. Of course, we're talking about the Tullahoma Wildcats hosting the Maplewood Panthers tonight. Arcente Broom. His team's, as Coach Olive said, Lee, a very tough schedule. They lost to Mount Juliet. They lost to Marshall County. Lost to Pearl Cone, East Nashville, and Hillsboro. That's a schedule right there, brother.
Schedule, man.
That's a hell of a schedule. I mean, they were kind of pretty much doomed when the schedule came out this year, especially considering all the kids they lost. They got one starter back on both sides of the ball. But, they despite the fact that they, had such a tough schedule, they played well. They're sitting here playing for 3rd spot in the region right now at 3-6.
Well, I'll tell you what, that win last week Tullahoma got over Giles County kind of solidified a few things for me with Tullahoma. I like the Wildcats tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. Giles County is a good David O'Connor squad. It's a good ball team. They beat Marshall County, if you remember, a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And then Tullahoma came in and spanked them by 21 points last week.
Yeah.
So that tells me John Olive has got this Wildcat team peaking at the right time.
That's right.
So if we look at that quad 2 in Region 4A, Lee, this is what we've got. Tullahoma, should they win tonight, will have to travel to DeKalb County. And as I mentioned to Coach Olive, if you lose this game, you got to go to Livingston Academy. Bruce Lamb's squad has played really well this year.
Yeah, I think, Mike, looking at this, because I know the other side of this quad a little bit.
Right.
I think Tullahoma and DeKalb, that's a winnable ball game for them.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think they'd be favored in that one.
Yeah, I think that's a winnable ball game. Tullahoma, Livingston, at Livingston, that's a tough road right there. Because
tough.
First off, it's a long haul.
Yeah.
And that's a tough place to play, and Livingston's playing lights out.
The last 2 years in a row, Lee Teat, Region 4 has swept Region 3
That's right.
in the first round.
Yep.
I don't think that happened this year. I think Livingston Academy will pick up a win, but I think it's going to be 3 teams in Region 4 that advance.
I do too, but if I'm Tullahoma, I don't want to have to go to Livingston.
No, I agree.
I think the DeKalb is a winnable ball game.
Much easier path, I think, through DeKalb.
Yes, sir.
No knock on DeKalb, but yeah, Livingston's playing really good. All right, so we're going to Tullahoma, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Lee, moving on down. Next game we got Mount Pleasant at Moore County. This is a huge game. A lot of stuff going on. And the debacle over Fayetteville is what's got everything all jacked up here, because we don't know. Tom Krieger says this week that because of the court-ordered stuff that Fayetteville, what was it, restraining order? Is that what the word they used, restraining order? Fayetteville put on a TSSAA, they will be allowed to participate in postseason play.
Yeah.
Now, we still got a week to go. I don't know that stays that way, but that's one thing about it. We don't know what's going on with Region 5.
Well, they better make their mind up, though.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, they got to come up with something here. They got to rule this a certain way because you can't have a team playing through the playoffs potentially knocking teams out.
Yeah. When they shouldn't even be in
then
there.
at the end, they take it away from them.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be there. Or let them play so they can play.
Yeah.
You know, you got to make a decision here. They can't waffle on this.
Well, if you're watching this show, you can freeze this for a minute and try to engulf all we've got down there. I think we've got the scenario right now. We've got Fayette win because the last word we got was they'd be able to participate. So, I mean, we've got it drawn up that way, but this region is so freaking crazy after, Moore County lost to Richland last week. That brought everybody back into the ball game, The winner between Moore County and Mount Pleasant, as it stands right now, will not make the playoffs. Huntland could go from second currently to out of the playoffs if they lose to Richland, depending on how the Mount Pleasant Moore County game goes. And we've got all the scenarios laid out right here. So, again, if you're watching the rebroadcast, you can freeze it and read through that. I think it's all right. But, again, if Fayetteville is not allowed to play, everything's changed.
Yep.
So, roundabout way, Lee, who you like in this game?
I'm going Mount Pleasant.
Going Mount Pleasant. I was kind of leaning that way too. That I would have probably took Moore County had this game been last week after they'd come off of that win against Huntland, because I didn't think Coach Dobbs' team would beat Huntland. They did, but I don't know. Richland's coming on.
That's true, and I didn't see Mount Pleasant beating Eagle.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
did.
And Mount Pleasant, they had a really good showing last week.
Playing good at the right time.
Yep, that's right.
So I'm going to go Mount Pleasant.
I'm going to go with the Tigers also, but with this region, man, I don't ever know. It's hard to predict. Covington, McNary Central, Lee Teat. This is a huge game over in West Tennessee. Our buddy J.R. Kirby. Their only losses were to South Gibson and Milan. South Gibson and Westview were the only losses for McNary Central. They did beat Milan, along with Hardin Academy and Hardin County. So, and Covington spanked Westview. Remember that? We thought that was going to be a good game.
Covington spanked Westview, but and lost to Milan, and McNary beat Milan.
I'm getting cold, Lee.
Yeah, it's getting cooler. I'm going to go Covington Chargers.
Covington Chargers.
Yep.
Well, Lee.
That's a hard pick, but I ain't supposed to be doing that, but I'm going to go Chargers. I think Coach Kirby's going to get it done.
Well, my heart pick would be Covington also, but my head pick says senior quarterback Cole Kirk with the Bobcats is going to win this game. He's got over his career as a starting quarterback, Lee Teat, he's got 3,632 yards, 41 TDs against 8 interceptions.
That's right.
This season alone, he's rushed for 219 yards and 4 TDs. He's also got senior Austin Scott, who's a 5'10", 215-pound bruiser at running back, 1,202 yards and 25 TDs this year.
Can Covington take the air out of it, though?
I don't know.
Their wing tee.
McNary's at home. And that was my swing.
What about Marcus Hayes?
Marcus Hayes is a Mr. Football candidate. And Lee, honestly, I don't have any idea who's going to win this game.
I'm going to go Chargers. You going to go Bobcats?
I'm going to go Bobcats. I love Coach Kirby. You know that. But I think it's a tough matchup for him.
It is.
It's a tough matchup for him. So if we look at quad 4, that's what you got. And again, you'll see that I've got 3 different teams there for those last 3 spots. 4 teams for those 3 spots. Of course, South Gibson's already locked up the region title, but I mean, this quad right here is more undecided in this quad, I think, than any other quad. Even looking at the other, Region 8, a lot of their stuff is not decided either. So you guys can look that over this may be another one you want to pause and look at all the scenarios. I mean, we'll know everything in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't remember when the TSSAA announces that, but anyway, Lee, we're getting short on time. We better step it up a little, brother. Yeah, we got a lot of games left. We're going to kick it into overdrive here.
Let's roll with it.
Westmoreland, Cascade. Cascade, despite being 2-7, Lee with a win tonight, get to go to the playoffs.
Eagles, Westmoreland.
Like Westmoreland.
Yes.
Westmoreland will be traveling to Tyner if they are able to win this game.
They lost to a bunch of good teams.
Yeah, they did. And this is the way that quad looks. Tyner would host the winner of this game, and that's the rest of that quad. Again, if you need to freeze it, and look it over. Lee and I ain't got time to freeze it. We're going to move on. I'm with you. I'm going Westmoreland. Happy Valley and South Green, Lee. This is a real tough one for me to pick. Levi Myers leads that South Green wing T offense behind center. He's got 803 rushing yards, 11 TDs on the season. Coach T, big ones was heavy South Green. Who do you like?
South Green.
I'm going to flip on you on this one, my friend. I'm going to go Happy Valley. I don't know why. I don't have a good reason for it. But I'm going to go Happy Valley. And they've got a lot on the line. This is 2A quad 1. And we'll look at that right quick.
I think South Green trying to get some
Happy
revenge.
Valley wins the region if they win. If they lose, if South Green wins, that would give the region to Hampton. So, of course, Hampton, they're going to be South Green's biggest fans tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But if Happy Valley wins, that's what I've got depicted right here. And if
they
not,
drop to a 4 seed. They go from a 1 to a
4. Exactly, with a loss. That's what I'm saying. They got a lot on the line, man.
I think.
So you either stand up or you let the pressure get to you. That's basically what it amounts to. All right, Richland and Huntland Lee. Nick Patterson's squad with the big win over Moore County last week. Totally destroyed the region predictions here.
Did, buddy.
With a win here, Richland could do. They would definitely make the playoffs. You're sitting here at 6-3 now, man. You got to be tickled to death if you're Richland with Nick Patterson here in his second year as head coach. Bobby Sharp, prodigy.
That's right.
I like Bob Robertson at home. They've been tough at home.
Yeah, I like Huntland at home.
South Pittsburgh, Copper Basin, Lee T. This is the region title on the line. Vic Ryder, there ain't anybody else I'd rather have coaching my team with a region title on the line.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to go with South Pitt, brother.
Coach Grabowski's son, 1,882 yards, 15 TDs. His favorite target, Chase Mickens. He's closing in on 1,000 yards receiving this year. That's a huge milestone for a high school football player, 1,000 receiving yards.
Yep.
He's having a big year for him. He's getting some mentions for Mr. Quarterback. But I agree. I think Braden Sanders and Ronto Tipton get it done tonight for the Pirates. Mount Juliet, Hendersonville, another region title on the line, Lee T. Tough one here for me to pick because I think Mount Juliet maybe not playing as well as they were earlier in the year. I think, was it you saying they had some injuries, or was someone else telling me that?
Yeah, they've been banged up a little bit. I like Mount Juliet still, though.
I do too. They're on the road. That's one thing. But I think they get it done. I'm going with them. Loudon and Red Bank, Lee T. Another tough game to pick right here. Chris Brown.
2 undefeateds going at it.
2 undefeated
squads. This is
squads.
one I told you gave me trouble.
Region. This is a Region 3 3A matchup, Lee. And if you look at that, I'm sorry, Region 3 1A, right? No, that ain't right. 2A.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry, folks.
3A quad 2.
Yeah, 3A quad 2. I'm sorry. The winner of this one will host the York Cannon County winner. Boy, I'd love to see Cannon County get in the playoffs, man.
First time in how long?
Oh man, they didn't win a game for 2 or 3 years there, and then they won 2 games last year, and they had to forfeit them.
Yep.
So Cannon County, man, that fan base is awesome, absolutely awesome, man. So I'd love to see them get in the playoffs. They got to beat York tonight to do that. Now, the loser of this game, Lee, will host Sequatchie County, assuming they don't get by Upperman.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think? Well, they would anyway. I think Upperman will win the tiebreaker if we got the three-way tie. So,
Yeah.
Upperman's locked that region up.
Yep, you're correct.
And
So, who you like in this Red Bank Loudon?
I like Red Bank.
I think so,
I think
too.
Red Bank's played a little bit tougher schedule. Coach Herrick does a really good job,
What are you
man.
talking about, man? He is doing great.
But
Folks down there at Loudon ought to be very happy with him.
absolutely. But I got to go with Chris Bound and Red Bank.
I think so.
Nolensville, Marshall County, Lee Teat, region title on the line tonight. Both teams 4-0 in region play. Tim Koutras, the Liberty commit, is having a big year for Nolensville, not only on offense but on defense. Got a lot of interceptions. We had Paul Derrick on recently, and we talked about that. He was another kid that's been rumored for Mr. Football. Interesting. I don't know if I mentioned it or
That's
not.
what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details. I do know Javari Rucker will not be playing tonight for Marshall County. That's a key factor for Marshall County. He's been a huge contributor this year. Will not be playing.
Yeah, Marshall County's a tough place to play, but I like Nolensville, man.
You like Nolensville, okay? I'm gonna split with you on this one. I think it may be the fact that he's not there. It may tighten the ranks a little. That's the way I'm going to go.
Kel Greer may be the difference in that game.
Might be. You like Kel Greer, don't you? You said it on a couple games this year.
Yep.
I think the difference in that game, Lee Teat, may be the young sophomore quarterback Bryson Hammonds. He's having a big year. He's really matured a lot. 63% of his passes he's completed, 13 TDs, only 3 picks. I think he's a real deal, man. He's having a good year for him.
Can they stop Koutras?
That's going to be the question, Martin. I think losing Rucker, I think he did some spot duty in the secondary, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's another athlete you don't have on the field anyway.
So you going Tigers though?
Yeah, I'm going Tigers.
I'm going to go Nolensville.
Going Nolensville. Hey man, you can't argue with either one of those picks. I think that's two good ball teams right there. So, yeah, we'll split that one.
All right, big last one.
Last one, and Lee, this is Forest in Lewis County. You got a picture of Forest out there warming up right now on the screen. What do you think, brother?
Oh, me, man. It's 2 wing tees going at it.
Yep.
A 9-0.
7-1. Lewis County only had 9 games on the schedule this year.
Correct. What was the Forest Summertown score?
Man, I think they beat them pretty good.
And then
Lewis County barely lost
to Summertown.
Yeah, barely lost. I think Forest, if Forest is 100% back, I think you got to favor them. Even Coach Sharp said that when we talked to him. But I don't know how. They had 3 or 4 linemen out the last game or two. Of course, their All-State Nick McClendon, he's been out with appendicitis the last couple of games. He's back, I was told. With everybody back, you got to like the Rockets, don't you, Lee? Lee?
God bless Michael. Buddy.
I'm going to put you on the spot and put you on the screen. I got my jacket on now. It's all right, Lee. I'm sure you'll get 50% this week.
I'm going Lewis County.
You going with the legend, Bobby Sharp, Hall of Famer.
How many region titles has he won?
A bunch. Hey, man, I can't argue with you.
It's on the line tonight, too.
I can't argue with you. I probably would have went with him, too, if McClendon. And you don't know how McClendon's going to come back. I mean, missing a couple of games.
With appendicitis?
Yeah. I mean, you don't know how well he's going to come back.
Man, this is straight.
I mean, the smart money would probably be on Lewis County, given that.
It's a straight toss-up, I think. I fought with this all week.
Yeah.
You know why I'm going with the gravy and biscuits?
Gravy and biscuits. I love Coach Sharp. He's a good dude, isn't he?
I enjoyed the heck out of that interview.
I did too.
Man.
That was one of the favorites.
So you going Rockets?
I'm gonna go Rockets. I'm gonna go Rockets.
50-50 then.
You don't know why I'm going Rockets? because Miss Beth,
Yeah.
Miss Beth has got a burger in there she's gonna give me.
Well, like I said, man, it's 50-50.
50-50.
I'll split with you. I'll go Lewis County.
All right, sounds good, man. Well, Lee, I think next week, brother, we're gonna move it inside Thursday. That's the plan right now. If that changes, we'll let you know on social media.
I'll definitely probably be somewhere Friday night.
Oh yeah, I'm going to a game. I didn't mean that. I mean we're just going to do our show on Thursday night so we can go enjoy
Sure,
the game.
yeah.
Because after we get done here, by the time we tear down and everything, it's already kickoff and everything. We don't really get to take in the game atmosphere when we do the show.
That's right.
When we get to postseason, I like to be there watching the warm ups and
Talking
everything,
to the coaches.
talking to the coaches, and we don't get to do that when we set up. So we'll move it to Thursday night, and I think that'll kind of help out our fan base too. They're not in the middle of traveling. And I'm sure they're going to want this highly educated, thought-provoking diagnosis of all the games that you and I provide every week.
Comedy sometimes.
Comedy a lot of times. Comedy a lot of times.
Mike, I told you this week, man. I'm afraid I'm turning it into a comedy event.
I think we've been doing that all year.
My picks was terrible.
I'm going to go ahead and tell the drunken sailor the big ones this week. I went for broke. I got a bunch of underdogs, so I'm either going to smoke your rear end this week or I'm going to drop down toward the bottom of the heap.
Oh, I forgot. I said it on Facebook. Shout out to Elizabethan for beating Greenville.
Yeah, that's huge.
Got rid of the kryptonite. I said I was going to give them a shout out. I shouted out on Facebook, but there you go.
Yep, there you go. That was definitely a big win for them, man.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And like we said, man, they got now Greenville's got to go through Anderson County to get back to Elizabeth.
Yep, kind of the same flip. They flipped the roles.
Yep,
so.
sure did. All right, Mr. T.
All right.
Well, I think this is going to do it for week 11. Appreciate CoachT.com hanging with us all year. If you're not a Coach T Plus member, you should be.
Yep.
So go check them out, man. And again, he's Lee Teat. I'm Mike Mulder, and this is the Friday main event. And we appreciate you guys joining us each and every week. We'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m., Lee Teat, 6 p.m.